I mentioned some of the advances in data acquisition in geophysics and also data processing, and I didn't even touch on some other aspects, like, for example, seafloor geodesy, which consists of putting geodetic instruments on the seafloor. And then there is DAS, so fiber optic can be used as basically as a seismometer, and these new technologies are going to produce really amazing data sets to work with in the next decades. Some of the work that I mentioned, especially looking at foreshocks, we've been able to reproduce some of the features of some foreshock sequences, including the 2011 Tohoku earthquake in Japan. But we're still very limited sometimes by the lack of data, by the poor resolution, by the fact that we don't detect a large number of earthquakes and so on. And so I'm very excited about all these advances on the data side of things, which is not directly what I work on, but it's very complementary. And I think the task for people like me who work on models and we work on theory and try to really kind of distill the physical processes from data sets is to work as much as possible with people who collect the data, and both to explain new observations, but also to come up with ways in which we can test our models so that they're not just something maybe nice and elegant but very abstract, but it becomes something that we can test and say, yeah, this model was right, this model was wrong. And so in general, like that's one aspect that I'm very excited about in the future. And I find foreshock sequences particularly intriguing because they have great potential in terms of they might have some potential in terms of earthquake forecasting, but we don't fully understand them yet. And so what I hope that we will be able to do in the next 10 years or more will be to better understand the physics behind all these processes, the physics behind the signals that sometimes take place, the processes that take place before large earthquakes, and all these signals that we may be able to look at, and then maybe down the line even be able to include these in operational earthquake forecasts. It's a very ambitious goal, but I think we have some reasons to hope.